You're watching News 19's Friends at 5 with Andrea Mock and Darcy Strickland.
The jury is now deliberating in the double murder trial of Brett Parker.
They got their instructions from the judge about an hour ago. News 19's J.R. Berry is leading our coverage from the Richland County Courthouse. He joins us now with the very latest. J.R.
Accused of killing his wife Tammy Parker and his friend Brian Kapnahorst on April 13th of last year. He has maintained all along that this was self-defense. The prosecution, of course, telling jurors again today that this was motivated by money and gambling debts. Closing arguments lasting some 3+ hours this afternoon. Take a listen to both the defense and the prosecution.
And at the end of your deliberations, there will be only one just verdict. And so I ask you now for a verdict that the evidence supports and that justice demands. I ask that you find the defendant, Brett Parker, guilty of killing his wife, Tammy Parker, and guilty for killing his friend and his co-worker, Brian Kapnahorst.
Your job today is to bring justice. And as our law commands you, if you have any reasonable doubt in this case to a moral certainty, you must find Brett not guilty.
Again, closing arguments lasting some 3 hours this afternoon. Dakari Turner's been covering this case for us throughout its entirety. There have been some moments, Dakari, that have stood out to us at the television station and perhaps to jurors and viewers at home. What are some of those?
Well, JR, like you said, there's been a bunch of moments that have stood out. I think one of the first ones within the first few days of the trial was Brett Parker's father, Jack Parker, being thrown out of the courtroom. A juror pointed to him and said that he apparently had asked them if they would be sequestered during the trial and would not stop talking to them once they told him that he couldn't speak to them.
Right. Well, he wasn't going to be allowed back in the courtroom unless he testified, and he never testified, did he?
He never testified. From my understanding, JR, that's because he decided to take his Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate himself. As you may know, he does have a federal gambling case pending against him right now, and I think he just didn't want to speak to anything that might get him into any more trouble than he's already in.
I think a lot of people, of course, are going to remember that Brett Parker was sent to the hospital for evaluation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he was taken out of the courtroom. That was on a day that the prosecutors painted a picture of exactly what happened to Tammy Parker and Brian Kapnahorst as they were shot. The witness taking the stand, the Richland County medical examiner taking the stand and saying that he believed Tammy was running away from her shooter because she was shot through her wrist and she fell.
Right. Now,
she was shot.
The family said he was having a panic attack, but today in closing arguments, what did the prosecution say?
During the closing arguments today, the prosecution, Assistant Prosecutor Luck Campbell said that she believes that that was not the case that she heard back, and he did not, in fact, have a panic attack, JR.
A couple of other moments that stand out for you?
Absolutely. There was the fact when Brett Parker's 14-year-old daughter, Brooke Parker, took the stand, she was very emotional. She did, in fact, break down on the stand. And today, during closing arguments, as a matter of fact, prosecutors pointed to what they said were contradictions in her testimony. Also, there was another emotional moment when the 911 call was played. Prosecutors synced it up with the 911 tapes with the surveillance video of the scene. Very powerful, not a dry eye in the courtroom at that time.
All right, Dakari, thank you so very much. So, ladies, the jury's had the case for about an hour or so now, and we are here outside courtroom 2A, and we are live waiting to see if there's going to be a verdict tonight. A lot of people don't really expect there to be a verdict tonight, but it's a jury, it's a trial, and so you never know. But we'll have much more coming up from the Richland County Judicial Center later tonight on News 19.
All right, JR, we appreciate it. JR, Dakari Turner, thank you.